1, 2, 2, 3. Next. Yeah, right.
ここか
Yeah, sure. There is good.
じゃ、こうやって。
You're too good at this, Kyrie. Almost title drop.
こんなもん朝飯前だぜ。
They title dropped, but they didn't include the subtitle. On that note,
撤去完了っと。あとはこれをどうにかすりゃいいんだな。
bombs! We can't roll the credits then, exactly. Yeah, can you handle it? It's 2 days before Christmas. We're hard at work over the weekend disarming the brookers that have been planted around town. So basically, these bombs are what will cause the most damage, meaning we have to dispose of them ahead of time.
実際に見てきたみたいに語るんだな。
Correct. Because I have. Too many times.
週は時をめぐる週だからな。
本当かよ。全然科学的じゃねえし、にわかには信じがたいぜ。
Brinker being far less naive than Kyrie still seems skeptical about my secret, but since we share the same goal, it's not a big deal.
今日にはもうその爆弾とやらが仕掛けられてるのかな。
Assuming everything's the same as always, then yes. The locations have stayed fairly consistent. Of course, Sakuya is naturally aware of my past strategic attempts. If she plans on taking things more seriously, all she needs to do is plant more fakes to restart our cat and mouse game. It's just... She said she wasn't going to interfere this time. All I can do is take her at her word. She's definitely the one who's been trading blows with me. Assuming she doesn't retaliate, then all we need to do is disarm those bombs.
どうしたユネ？聞こえなかった。
今ユネは喋れないってシュウ君が言ってただろ。
ああ、いや、にしてもさ、かすれ声も出てないから。
At least Sakuya is not going to help the person this time. Yeah, that's the interesting part, right? Because, like Sakuya said, she's not going to intervene, which means she's not the one doing all of this shit. She's just helping the person who does it. But then the person who does it doesn't know about the time loop shit. So then how did Sakuya start helping this person? Because it has to be someone who's... No! it's gonna be fucking Geto, isn't it? He hasn't played any prominent roles yet, which means that, you know, Chekhov's gone and all. He's gonna end up being the one trying to start the apocalypse or some shit. It hurts for her to talk, so it's better if she rests her voice for now. What was that, Yune? Yep. Yeah, I see. She said since the bombs are scattered all over town, it'll be faster if we split up. Like, the person who is trying to start the apocalypse and the person who ate the apple with Sakuya have to be different people. I think.
なんで今のでわかんだ？
わちゃわちゃ手動かしてるようにしか見えなかったけど。
After spending time with Yune, who can no longer talk, I've gradually learned to understand what she's saying just by looking into her eyes. I guess we can read each other's minds. See, that's the thing, right? In Guido's route, he destroyed his artwork. Right? So he probably has a similar mindset to Kyrie's in the fact that of destruction being beautiful. I don't know. Sakuya couldn't drug the MC by herself as well. Right, yeah. There was someone else with Sakuya who drugged Shu.
それじゃあ実際の処理はキリエに任せて。
We should focus on finding them for her. Which leads us to where we are now.
にしてもすっげえ構造してんなこれ。
Oh, yeah?
はあ、信じらんねえ。ありえねえくらい緻密に組み込まれてる。
Kyrie is examining one of the snowbrookers she disarmed, oohing and ahhing over the craftsmanship. Knowing Kyrie the way I do, it's not surprising by her reaction. I'm not surprised by her reaction, but if she didn't make these, then who did? Think you could make one?
いや、私でも無理だ。いくら時間があってもできるかどうか。
I mean, like, who do we know who is good at making shit, right? I mean, the first time we see Guido, he makes a fucking chess set. So, like, he's good with his hands, in the same way a craftsman would be. They're all good with their hands, right? They're all fucking artists and shit, but I don't know what I'm saying. I'm sure there are plenty of bombs on the outside that are smaller and far more powerful than these. There are only so many things you can get here. To someone like Kyrie with limited materials and technology, a bomb like this would be impressive. But also, seeing Kyrie's reaction to the Brooker in her hands makes me confident it was constructed here in town.
んで、これが爆発したら雪が舞い散るんだろ?
I see. You mean snow or snow-like powder? I remember the glittering white flecks that fell all around us like snow amid the dancing flames. The two opposing elements painted the horrific carnage in fantastically vivid colors.
なんて言えばいいのかわかんねえけど、強いて言うならあれだな。芸術的だな、この爆弾は。
That's her ultimate conclusion on the Snowbrookers. Kyrie without current bombs, yikes. I might have felt similarly if I hadn't seen its destructive power firsthand. But that smell, is it paint? Underneath the smell of soap, I smell something that reminds me of being in the atelier. It's a familiar scent that's never made me feel uncomfortable before. All you need for a bomb is a container and fuel, right? Even the ice sticking to the nearby ground is starting to look suspicious. I have a strong feeling we'll need to check somewhere else. This is the fourth one at the school, so this should be all of them.
次は琴音のいる商店街だっけ?
Yeah. Kotaha Yune and I have split up in our hunt to find hidden brookers. Rinka's back at the dorms since it'd be too dangerous for her to be seen out in public. and the one person who could make a disguise for Rinka is the enemy. As soon as we arrive at the shopping district, Kotaha waves us over.
この裏にあったんだけど、これでいいのかな？
That's perfect. Another Snowbrooker.
取り外すぜ。
He peels back the bag and disarms the bomb with a practiced hand. The mechanism doesn't seem to be complex as a machine, but it's not something you want to mess around with too much. What she's doing is actually incredibly dangerous, and yet it doesn't feel that way based on her carefree attitude.
ちなみに、これ一つが動作したらどうなるの？
There's 2 bombs located here in the shopping district, which is enough to completely destroy it.
とんでもないね。
Is that the first time another character has sworn, other than Shu? Shopping stalls are nowhere near as sturdy as a school, for example. 2 bombs are more than enough to level this area and cover the ground with fallen snow.
もう一つはあっち。これで全部かな。
The shopping district should be safe. However, it's still too early to call this a victory of any kind. As long as our enemy is free to change their mind at any time, we have to keep our guard up.
咲夜が？それは本当なの、シュウ君？
I hate to say it, but yes. Although I still don't know her true motive. Does she really want to destroy the town? Does she feel obligated to do so? That's the thing, right? She does not want to kill the people in the town. But Guido does? Whoever's placing the bombs does. I'll stop saying Guido until it is Guido. I just think it's Guido, and like, I'm too meta about it, right? The only reason I think it's Guido is because meta. Or is this town just collateral damage?
私はその咲夜って子知らないけど、ユネと同じくらいのせ？
Nod nod.
じゃあ、咲夜を見つけたら話を聞かないとね。
He seems most likely. Yeah, that's the thing. He hasn't played a big enough role in the story yet. Absolutely. No matter how much Sakuya wants this, Hina and I will always fight against it, right? I said a similar thing about Jack, but we've already seen his importance in the story, alright? We still haven't gotten Guido's. And if we can't come to an agreement, then she'll become our literal enemy. As much as neither of us want to believe it, even Yune is starting to accept the reality of the situation.
何？ケツがかゆい？
She angrily says that's not it at all.
爆弾見つけたんだろ？案内しろって。
Yune's in charge of the Christmas tree. Yune is quick to find the Brooker, which is in basically the same place as it usually is.
取ったぜ。
Thanks. Should we head back to the dorms? First and second Civetta The academy, the shopping district, and the Christmas tree. We got rid of most of the bombs, which only leaves the dorms and the park as potential assault spots.
なあシュウ。
ん？
これ一個だけ試していいか？
Where? Her tone of voice is light-hearted and playful as she holds the Brooker she just disabled in her hands. By test, you mean you want to set it off?
そうそう。
Is she fucking nuts? Despite my warning earlier, there's no stopping Kyrie, of all people, from being interested in bombs. I'm sure she just wants to set it off in a controlled and safe environment. See how it works.
芸術的ってさっき言ったけど、これだって誰かの作った一つの作品なわけだよ。私としてはちゃんとその真骨頂を見てやりたいんだよな。
私も見てみたいな、シュウ君。何かのヒントになるかもしれないし。
It's only because Kyrie dissected one of the dummies once that we dissected one of the dummies once that we discovered. It's only because Kyrie dissected one of the dummies once that we discovered them for what they were during the Christmas party. Huh? That makes sense. These bombs are really powerful though. So let's move somewhere else.
ここら辺ならいいか。
And you're sure this? Are you sure we won't get hurt?
火薬量を減らせばいいんだろ？
You can do that?
多分。
With that said, she begins using the tools she brought with her to fiddle with the Snowbrooker. Just watching her seems way too dangerous.
そんなビビんなくても平気だって。火がないと起爆しねえもん、これは。
After fiddling with it for another 5 minutes.
できた。中の火薬を9割方捨てといた。
So this is the bomb at 10% power. I hope that's low enough.
じゃ、3、2、1、ほい。
He lights the Brooker and immediately hurries away. We quickly follow. We get to a relatively safe distance of 10 meters from the Brooker when suddenly...
うわっ。
びっくりした。あんなに火薬を減らしたのに。
The explosion was so strong, I felt the blast of wind against my skin. It was enough to send the plants and trees in the vicinity flying. So with my new Utobot, I have hyphens between some words. That is needed, right? For some words, yes. Also,
あ、これが。
following the Brooker's blast, it begins to snow. In stark contrast to the explosive force of the bomb, the snowflakes drift lazily through the air like angel feathers.
確かに。綺麗だね。こう言ってはなんだけど。
凝ってんな。でも、確かに悪くね。
Yune rolls one of the white flakes between her fingers. It doesn't seem deadly in and of itself. Hey. Do you think that trick you told me about will actually work?
ああ。うまくいけば。だけどね。
Hey, Kotaha?
何かな？
There was something I needed to double check with Kotaha. I heard once before that you'd set some kind of trap some kind of a trap to catch the person behind the apocalypse red-handed.
ああ、驚いたな。そうか、そんなことまで知ってるんだね。
なんだそれ、私も知らね
Nod, nod. She probably never put her trap into motion in any of the previous timelines. But if we work together, maybe we could put it to use.
犯人を見つけるための罠、確かにあるよ。それはリンカからアポカリプスのことを聞いた1年生の時に仕掛けたものだ。
OBS going nuts. I don't know why. You mentioned it to me at some point.
え。そんなの私も聞いてないんだけど。
リンカにそのことを思い出させたくなかったからね。密かに撃てる手を打っておこうと思って。
I meant behind most things under heading. Like in the heading appearance details, I have hyphens behind every word, like eye color, hair, etc. I'm sure it's fine. What kind of trap is it? I'm assuming it won't expose the culprit's identity on its own. And it's pretty hard for me to imagine the kind of trap that that can stay in place for years. Did she plant somewhere around the school? Did she plant somewhere around the school?
ごめんね。これは誰にも言わないって約束になってるんだ。
Yeah, I figured as much. It's basically the same answer she gave me once before. She quickly continues.
それに私が何を仕掛けたかをここで話しても、その成功率を高める結果にはならない。むしろ下がるかもしれない。
あ？
もちろんみんなのことを信用してないわけじゃない。けどだからこそというか、ほら、知ってて知らないふりをするのは難しいでしょ。
She's right. The advantage you get from pretending not to know something from the start is something I'm painfully aware of. Fool your enemy first, deceive your ally, or something. It's deceive yourself, you mean. As Kotaha talks, not only does Yune listen quietly, but Kyrie does too. For someone who's usually as loud as she is.
知らないふりっつうか、実際こいつら嘘つくの下手そうだしな。
Or people knowing would make it worse. Exactly. It just takes one person to leak it, and then the whole plan goes to shit. Listen, Yune is like the last person you to concern yourself about, considering she can't even talk. She said you'll want to talk. Honestly, I'm in agreement.
ああ、でも切り絵はうまいか。
天才女優だかんな。
Lying is one way to put it. That what she's truly talented at is playing any role thrown at her.
ただ確率を高めるやり方はある。どちらかといえばそっちに協力してほしい。
Tell us more. It's clear she's taken a different approach to diffusing the situation than I ever have. That is why I want to trust her, thus focusing on improving our odds in this gamble.
一つ聞きたいんだけど、シュウ君。アポカリプスというのは必ずクリスマスに起こるんだよね。
Every single time. That's why I suddenly remember something Kyrie told me once. Because it matches with the culprit's aesthetics.
わかった。なら問題ない。
With that said, Kotaha begins explaining what we're going to do.
一つ目、さっき言ってた爆弾の除去を徹底的にやること。
Well, of course.
これはつまり、そう、 向こうの描いた絵図を台無しにしてやるのが重要で、相手の策を全て潰すことが私の罠を動作させる最低条件だ。
She speaks, she looks far more formidable than I've ever seen her. One might say her trap never worked before because it had never been executed properly.
でもよ、アポカリプスを失敗させるって意味ならそこで目的達成じゃねえのか？
いや、それだけだと逃げられる恐れがある。それじゃあダメなんだよね、シュウ君。
Unless we get the evidence, we need to stop them directly. Then there's no point, and we'll have to relive this December yet again. You'll have to. No one else will. We have to foil their plans and figure out who they are. This won't end unless we talk them out of it.
私の張った罠というのは犯行を止めるというより、あくまで犯人を導き出すためのものなんだ。
This conversation is getting increasingly hard to follow. Yune appears to feel the same way too.
一つ目って言ったからには次があるのか？
そして二つ目。
Kotaha holds up 2 fingers before continuing. The next thing she says catches us like an ambush.
キリエ、フォトレンジャーのラストに爆発シーンを入れよう。
Huh?
もう撮ったじゃん。
That's what I'm saying.
もっと派手なやつがいい。例えばそのアポカリプスで実際に使われるものくらい。
Why?
どんな提案だよそれは。
I don't think CG exists in this town.
どうかな、キリエ。使えそう？
さすがに元のままだと強すぎるからぐっと火薬は減らすけど、演出としては使えるな。
じゃあ使おう。今回の映画のラストシーンに。
そう言うけどな、ことね。上映はもう2日後なんだぞ。撮るより編集する方が大変。
私も手伝うからさ。これが最後の詰めになるかもしれないんだよ。
もう映画はクランクアップしてんだけどな。主演女優の頼みなら断れねえか。
ありがとう。それにほら、勝手に雪の降る演出も入るし、ロマンチックだと思わない？
I'm not sure what's gotten into Kotaha, but she's requested a far more spectacular final explosion. She's even repurposing one of the Brookers we swiped. She's not much better than a common thief. I have no idea what her plan is, but all I can do now is trust her. At least we've managed to successfully destroy all of the Brookers, save one. How did it go, Rinka?
全然ダメだな。チャペルからの階段も封鎖されてるし、キリエの作った裏道とやらもぶっ壊されてた。
Ain't no way. It must have happened while we were bomb sniffing. While we're bomb sniffing. Yeah? Wait. Yeah. Once the sun went down, I asked Rinka to try and sneak back into the underground room. But that proved to be more difficult than expected.
その地下にサクヤって子はいるんだろ？見つけたかったけど。
I don't know for sure, but probably. There's a bunch of security camera monitors down there, too. If we could get in, we'd be able to keep an eye on the prime spots around town. Honestly speaking, I didn't expect Sakuya to completely vanish off the radar.
そりゃ街をぶっ壊そうなんて考えてるやつなんだろ？見つかったら捕まえられると思ってるんじゃ。
Yune says she's not on board with that, and I agree.
ちょっと待て。シュウはその子を実行犯だとは思ってないのか？
She's an accomplice, not the perpetrator. Just based on the evidence, it must be her, but I know her well enough that something feels wrong.
でも仕方ないってことはないのか？根がいい子でも、ほら、あいつにそそのかされた結果だったら。
I guess you're right. But even with that said, I don't agree. It has nothing to do with any kind of emotional attachment. Sakuya could have done away with me at any moment if she wanted to, and yet time and again she let me go free for reasons I don't understand, despite knowing I was acting against her. I won't know what's going on until I have a chance to ask her directly.
それができりゃって話だな。ところで、
She is undoubtedly part of it, but I don't think she's a bad person. I mean, she is the one who tried to save everyone from the explosion in Kotaha's route, so... Kirie's route? I'm not sure. Sakuya's route? I mean, she did help build the boat.
なんでユネまでこの部屋に？
Right. She said she's lonely when she's by herself.
今までも一人部屋だったろ。
If she wanted this, she could have stopped them. Exactly, right? She could have easily killed Shu at any opportunity to... Right? We still don't know her full motive to why she's doing what she's doing. And the only explanation I have is because she loves Shu. And that's also the reason why she doesn't want to see Shu, because she thinks he hates her. She says not being able to talk and being all alone in her quiet room for hours on end is hard.
日に日に通訳の精度が上がっていくな。
Huh? You want to sleep here? I don't know, you know.
そうそう。ただでさえシュウは雑魚寝なんだし。
You're not allowed on my bed either. You know, he looks clearly disappointed. I can't say no to that face. Normally I'd have told her to go stay in with one of her girlfriends, but right now I'm the only person she can communicate with. It's not that weird to let her stay with me, and I have no ulterior motives behind sharing a bed with her. Therefore, fine, but just for today. Damn, this game really is trying to ship Shu and Yune together, or tie him up to keep him away. Yeah. She immediately perks up almost too quickly.
3人で相部屋か。シュウの寝床は洗面台だな。
So that how they were sleeping him on his bed and her on the floor. I mean, Rinka and Shu supposedly were like alternating between sleeping on the floor and sleeping on the bed, right? Nope, you're going up to Kirie's room.
はあ？
There's definitely not enough room for the three of us. Use that ladder and you'll be up in a jiffy. I mean, safe for you. Listen, Shu, the only reason there isn't enough room is because you don't want Yune to sleep in the bed with you.
私を厄介払いする気か？
I have no idea if anyone's looking for you, but since it's night, you should be safe enough for now.
私をどけて2人で。
Don't go that far, alright? Fuck choosing between between Yune and Sakuya at the end of the game. We're only going down Yune's route. Absolutely not. I'm not planning on doing anything like that. Yune doesn't know what we're talking about. I hope she stays that way.
いいや。見てたらなんかお前らの邪魔しちゃ悪いなって思うし。
Rinka. She slowly reaches toward Yune's throat before massaging it gently.
どんな事情か知らないけど、ユネのことだから自業自得なんかじゃないんだろ。もし何か必要な薬でも治療でもあったら言ってくれよな。クリスマスの後になるかもしれないけど。じゃあな、また明日。
She flashes us a brilliant smile before disappearing up the ladder. The two of us are left in silence. It seems like Rinka's always had a soft spot for Yune. And knowing that, it feels like she's handed the role of Yune's bodyguard over to me. Huh? Why is she staring at me like that? Is she still thinking about Rinka's offhand remark about becoming a man? Even though I know she was teasing us, I try to read Yune's expression, the lingering awkwardness almost stifling in its intensity.
リンカパイセンが来た。暇すぎて下にとつろうかと思ってたんだよ。徹夜でホラー映画見ようぜ。
She is so loud that you can hear her through the ceiling.
あったあった。夜なんだからちょっとは静かにしろお前は。
I should close the window. Oh, never mind. He has the windows still open. Kyrie is as loud as ever. She probably doesn't want to let Rinka go, which works for me. Although you shouldn't invite yourself over to someone else's room just because you're bored. I mean, that's Kyrie's shtick. She does that all the time. Now then, I have grown used to Yune's silence. So why are we just sitting here, staring at each other, both of us blushing like crazy? Let's change the subject to something more impersonal. You can take the bed, Yune. It's a little small, but it's probably the same as yours. Huh? No, we're not sharing the bed. I meant you take the bed and I'll take the floor. Nod, 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 nod. I feel like I'm just digging my hole deeper and deeper. It's not that I don't enjoy being alone with Yune, but this is maybe too much. She sits on the bed before patting the sheets next to her. Are you sure? Nod. We sit side by side on the edge of the bed. My bed. If we're sleeping together, this would be a big deal. But we're just sitting like on a bench. Do you want to talk? Nod, nod. If that's all she wants, then that's easy enough. I guess she really meant what she said about feeling lonely. In her current state, I can only imagine how long the nights are alone with her thoughts. Why am I so casual about Rinka? I guess it is a little weird, huh? No, I'm not as old as you. I'm about as old as you. But since I originally met Rinka on the outside, I assumed we were the same age. As we saw no reason for things to change when we realized she was older. The truth is, our 1-year age difference doesn't bother me at all. especially since we met outside of a classroom setting. It's weird. Maybe, but I'd feel even weirder to act all polite about her now, around her now. Yeah, she might think I'm being sarcastic and get mad. Kind to Yune, but not to Rinka. I mean, like, you know, Shu and Yune have spent multiple timelines together, so, like, it makes sense. I chuckle and Yune smirks in response. Despite her inability to speak, we're able to carry on a conversation through gestures and facial expressions alone. It's like a super quiet sleepover. It's probably also because of how much time we've spent together. Plus, Yune's being far more expressive than usual, probably compensating for her inability to speak. I find it cute the way her expression constantly changes in reaction to my words, but I can't think about it too deeply. After all, it's basically my fault that she's forced to do any of this. Yune? Okay, sorry. Anytime I feel even a touch of self-pity, Yune instantly gets cranky. I guess she can read my face as well as I can read hers, forcing me to admit defeat. You're trying to say the only one to blame here is yourself. I know. She gives me an exasperated look, as if to say people who say I know are the ones who don't know anything. I understand her perfectly, but I pretend that I don't. What do you mean? What we were talking about before? The basement? Shake. You mean Sakuya? Nod. I think back to our conversation earlier. Suddenly I have a light bulb moment. Are you thinking about what Rinka said? Nod.
でも仕方ないってことはないのか？根がいい子でもほらあいつにそそのかされた結果だったら。
She said this like 10 minutes ago. You didn't need to flash back to it. She was referring to Sakuya's behavior. I understand where she's coming from, but I know why it's bugging Yune as well. That's right. We need to talk about this. I'm sorry I got distracted by everything else going on. Don't worry. I can do this. I just need a little bit of extra courage to get the words out. She smiles wryly at me, like she can read my slightly tense expression like a book. Not that I don't want to talk about it, in fact, it's important that she knows. It's the reason why I'm here in this town, why I'm together with Yune right now. Rinka mentioned it before, the second coming of the apocalypse to this town on Christmas isn't natural. It's like in the Bible, there's a serpent leading someone here in town astray. If the town is basically the Garden of Eden, then that would mean the serpent, the devil. That would make the serpent the devil himself. A parasite threatening a balanced ecosystem, a drop of poison in a clear lake. The serpent, for whatever reason, wanted the apocalypse to visit this town, and thus needed an extra wisdom to get the job done. Thus the temptation of the forbidden fruit. Since serpents can't hold a brush, they cannot create art themselves. That's what Rinka meant earlier. It's the serpent's way to make it happen without getting their hands dirty. Yeah, that's right. Someone from the outside. but unlike me, they kept that fact to themselves. Right. It has to be... It's Guido, Sakuya, and someone else. And it has... Surely it's the headmaster, right? Because we already know the teachers are sus. And who would be more sus than the... like, the most powerful person in this town, aka the headmaster. Right? Something like that. No one would think you were an outsider unless you painted yourself as such. Also, the serpent would be someone familiar to the people here. No wonder they blended right in. Yune listens to me quietly without reacting. Maybe she doesn't see what I'm getting at yet. This person usually isn't around, instead managing the town's affairs from the outside. Naturally, this town can't survive without supplies from the outside world. But the folks here are trained not to think about any of that, or the existence of the people needed to help run the Grand Tour project. Except thanks to the stars aligning, just so they had a chance to come here 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Before Yune began attending St. Aria, and when Rinka and Kotaha were first-year students. That's when this all began. The Serpent's mission was to tempt someone into sin, so they would act as the destructive force necessary to bring about the apocalypse. And the one... oh, okay. If it is the headmaster, then are you telling me that he chose Sakuya and Guido maybe they only chose one or the other, right? They chose one of them because they have a different answer, or they chose a different picture, right? I am grasping at straws here, because we already know, right? The headmaster gave the students like a test before reacted weirdly to that name. Yeah, right? He reacted weirdly to the name, which means that he probably knows about the headmaster's name, right? And then you've got the headmaster issuing out a test, or like the interview thing, right? Where he gave 3 pictures and had the students all choose one. And the students that chose a different answer to the consensus were picked to do this kind of thing, right? God damn it. Because, right, we know Shu also felt differently to the other to the other students about that certain picture, right? Of the I forgot what it was, but he found beauty in the picture or whatever. Okay, so it's the headmaster pulling all the strings. Guido's the one ending the world, and Sakuya is the one doing something. Man, I'll go into more detail later, but in other words, they needed someone to create a work of art. So the Serpent had to be selective. They snuck in past the Aurora in order to find that special someone with the perfect stylistic sense. The Serpent's mission was to slip into town and find the artist who could incite the apocalypse. Also, I'm sure the Serpent did their best to look as harmless as possible. The only one who saw them for what they were would have been the one tempted off the path. Even Yuji and Kirie didn't see them as anything out of the ordinary. Have Yuji and Kirie met them? Yes, even you have, Yune. Yune's eyes grow wide with shock. I guess she still hasn't figured it out yet. Who is it? She seems to be asking. I have to answer her. I have an obligation to do so. Yes! Huh? I can't catch my breath. My heart's beating erratically. Just hearing the name once sent me into convulsions, and I passed out. This is the first time I'll utter it myself. Just then, I feel her left hand softly grip my right hand. Yune, don't give up. Through her warmth and steady gaze, I feel like that's what she's trying to tell me. Thank you. I can do it. I feel my chest bursting with renewed determination and resolve. Faced with the reality that we are bound to meet head on. This serpent, who is behind the second coming of the apocalypse. His name is... The sudden sadness that descends on me causes me to falter. The St. Aria Academy principal, Soichi Watarase. Oh, we got his full name! Because we've only gotten Watarase, right? Unless I'm capping. But we finally got the name drop. And we skip all the way to Christmas. Again, he panicking. I mean, it makes sense, right? There's a reason why Sakuya got rid of his memories. Because he has... That is interesting. He has ties to Watarase. Right? I mean, wouldn't all of the... Fuck, man. And so, with another advent at an end, we're greeted once again by the dawn on Christmas morning. Well, this is new. He's finally, well, I wouldn't say new, more like we finally see this again, I guess. We're at the top of the dorm? Tower? Yeah. I climbed to Palm Dorm's clock tower. Yeah, the clock tower on top of Palm Dorms. To get a panoramic view of the town under the clear sky. Well, I think I'm going to be using this as the thumbnail if there's no CG this VOD. The aurora rising in the distance above the endless horizon dominates the landscape as usual. This might be the last. No. This should, by all rights, be my first Christmas in this town. I need to make sure Yune and everyone else have a place where they can continue living next year and the year after that. I won't let them destroy this town. That's my mission. That's my part to play. And I've got a score to settle. Memories of my time spent here, and my friends' smiling faces flash through my mind. I can't lose. And I won't make the same mistakes again.
どうしてこんなことが起こるの？やめてよ。返してよ。私、もっとお祈りするし、頑張るから。誰が私たちの邪魔をしてるのか。これからはその誰かを見つけるためにやり直す。
Nice, we get to see up here again. Yeah, it's been a while. Someone like that. Fucking... God damn it. If I had to guess, I'd say... Listen, Yune, I know you lost your voice, But you don't need to lose your voice actor too. They're your enemy. I need to know, Sakuya. Why did you do this?
バカ正直ですね。私がここでシオ先輩に危害を加えるとかは考えないんですか？
Of course not. You'd never do something like that.
本当に先輩は。
Destiny led me to where I am now. It's finally time to settle things once and for all. Okay. It's time. Saint Aria Culture Festival is about to start. The first trumpets of the day ring out, heralding the start of Christmas. The fucking omen of death. More like. Everyone in our friend group, including myself, are exhibiting our usual pieces this time around. The only deviations are Sakuya, who isn't here, and Yune, who can't sing. A couple of my handmade Corpica dolls are on the desk to keep my display from looking too bleak. Without my doll's partner in sight, its expression seems clouded and overcast. That's what the umbrella's for. Yune, are you sure? If you're not busy, we could go for a stroll. Shake, shake. She silently shakes her head. She doesn't seem overwhelmed. She's just watching the people visiting my display with great interest. I know better than anyone how much she longs to express herself through her singing. She originally never planned on majoring in voice. I didn't even know you could major in voice, considering she's the only one who considering she's the only one who fucking tried to. But eventually, that's where she ended up. She learned that music is part of the art world. Correct. But the problem is that you can't use music if you don't know how to read sheet music. You can't play an instrument if you don't know how to read sheet. Okay. I'm not saying this correctly. You need sheet music to be able to consistently play the same thing. But you can't do that if you can't. It can't happen if you can't read it. I've seen Yune's Culture Festival performance many times. I've even helped her. And I will never forget the way she looked beaming with pride at her own success. Regardless, that won't be happening this Christmas, and the memory almost feels like a dream. Assuming we never relive this day again, this will be the Culture Festival she remembers. Sorry. She pokes me before using her fingers to pantomime devil's horns. She's quick to get on my case whenever she notices me moping. She seems more sensitive to my moods than before. She lost her voice. You're saying to stop worrying so much? Nod, nod. For the love of... The original Yune would have gotten angry with me, but it's also very much in character for her to keep her true feelings tucked away. I think it would be so much easier if we knew sign language. Yeah, but it indeed would be, but at least she could draw, right? That's the only silver lining. In a town where everyone is illiterate, though that type of communication doesn't exist. Also, although it would be rude to say, the sight of Yune stumbling through, miming her thoughts to me has been pretty cute. Huh? Don't laugh. That might be hard. You're hungry? Shake, shake. He points to the clock. Ah. You're hungry, so let's get something to eat? Nod, nod. Yeah, that's the weird part. There are clocks in the town, but you can't... People in this town don't even know how to read numbers. So, like, how are they able to determine when it's... I mean, okay. I guess they are figuring it out based off the positioning of their hands. Right? I guess. I smile back, hoping the calm before the storm sticks around for a bit longer. I hear the distant second sounding of the trumpets. After enjoying a laid-back lunch, we wander through the hallway together. You're right. If we've never walked around the festival together, it's a little weird. We often met in the chapel, so I could accompany her singing on the organ, but this is the first time we're enjoying the actual festival together. Plus, this version of Yune is fully aware of everything that's happened in the past thanks to me. In many ways, it's a very unique situation, and position makes sense. Yeah. It's kind of like, it's more like the only way they could read the time. So thank God they're not using digital clocks. I try to enjoy the festival like always. Well, I guess there's a CG I could use if there isn't one in this VOD. I can't do it. I can't get out of my own head, no matter how hard I try. Memories of walking down this hallway with her. They cut off the trumpets. 4. And with it, the 4th trumpet blast. Good luck to them if they were. This is originally where the horses broke free from the stable, sowing chaos and panic. Don't worry, I talked to the stable master earlier, told him to keep an eye out for anyone trying to cut their reins. 1 minute, 2. No matter how much time passes, the peaceful scene before us remains undisturbed. Good. Looks like nothing happened. I put an alert out, including Sakuya's photo. I wanted to make sure she couldn't get close. I feel bad about it, but what else could I do? I can't let her do whatever she wants, and as soon as I figure out her motive, I want to see her. With that said, I don't think she's going to show up, which means we should be safe. Moving on. For the first time ever, I need to snuff out every single one of her schemes. It's 6. Sister Lily's voice echoes around us, announcing the end of the festival. Yeah, no. Look, Sister Lily, right? She can read the time. She doesn't need to. She doesn't need the hands to know how to read the time. So it isn't as weird to see her saying what the time is, even if you can still tell the. No, you can't. You cannot say what the exact time is. Fuck. I'm overthinking this. Normally, this signals the start of my hypervigilance, but this time you won't hear the trumpets because...
おっす、シュートユネお疲れ。まあ本当に疲れたのは俺だけど。
Sorry, but speaking of which, how'd it go?
まあ成功なんじゃね？ラッパーなんなかったら。
True. You didn't. Her eyes seemed to shout in my direction. My eyes twinkle in response. The Saint Aria bandits are back together again. I do kind of feel bad for Yuji because he just feels like a third wheel constantly. Especially now that we're nearing the end of the game when Shu has to decide on who to date between Sakuya and Yune. Well, it's the same plan I came up with during the timeline where I was closest to Kotoha. He sure does. This scene just reinforces my theory on Guido is working with Sakuya to destroy the town, right? Because it doesn't matter how many times Sakuya could have gone back in time, right? How could she have found out that Shu hid... Okay. What I'm saying is Guido tipped her off on where the trumpets are. Or Guido just placed the fucking audio recording in his room and just put the trumpets, like, got the trumpets and put them back to where they were before. Right? That time, the trumpets were ultimately taken back, but I learned how integral their role is to the apocalypse. It's more so, how would Sakuya have been able to bring the trumpets back down so quickly, so easily, right? I took the trumpets out of the equation without the signal to begin. The aesthetics are lost. They'll do whatever it takes to preserve the Book of Revelation undertones, transforming an ordinary massacre into something biblical.
たく、いきなりマジなトーンで頼み込んでくるから何かと思ったぜ。事情も教えてくれねえしよ。
He is in a high position. Yeah, he and Kotoha are dorm managers, right? So it shouldn't be that big of a surprise if he and Kotoha are able to go into people's rooms, right? Because that's the other thing. How would Sakuya have been able to get into Shu's room other than having to scale up to his room from the balcony, right? And then how would you have been able to get the... Yeah, look. That's a better way of explaining why I think Guido was colluding with Sakuya. Not the timeline. Not the time travel shit like that. Make it more easy to explain, you know? Occam's razor. I did tell you. We're stopping the second coming of the apocalypse.
だってさ、どう思うユネ。
She says I'm right.
え、本当にそう言ってんのか？
I'd already told Yuji everything, although he hadn't believed me this at the time. Which makes sense, honestly.
で、どうするよ。高野菜の時間になるけど。
Yeah. Do you mind going on ahead? There's something I have to take care of.
いいけど、なんか用事でもあんのか？
Sister Lily wanted to see me.
マジ？え、もしかしてラッパ泥棒のこと？
The burgled bugles. Nice. No, she stopped by a moment ago, so I'm sure it's unrelated.
バレたらシュウが身代わりになるって言ったんだからな。いや、俺も承知の上で引き受けてんだから罪は被るけど。
Still jumpy from hearing Sister Lily's name, Yuji returns to the atelier to clean up his display. I'm sorry, Yuji, but I can't disclose what's about to happen next. Not yet. Two hours pass. 8 arrives with no trumpets, so it's safe to assume they're still in my room. they have left of the Brookers. Don't worry, we took care of them the day before yesterday. No, that should be all of them. We disarmed and disposed of every single one. There's no way they could plant more. Right? Granted, this never happened before. I couldn't feel safe even after having disposed of every single bomb, and even the trumpets were taken back by force following our heist. Our foe seems far more disorganized compared to every other time in the past. Well, yeah, because they're kind of working alone this time. Their response time is much slower than usual, because they don't have an informant. I'm not doing anything more than putting plans into motion that I know worked before. Warning the stable master about the horses. Silencing the trumpets so they can't act as triggers. Disposing of the bombs so they can't blow up and wreak havoc. By knowing my opponent's strategy, I can effectively counter by pulling rock against scissors. They no longer have 2 people to carry out the plan. Right. But that's the thing, though. They have more than 2 people, right? They have the adults. Unless what Sister Lily is... No, Sister Lily is also working with the headmaster to do this, right? I'm sure everything will be answered in due time. I'm confused about a lot of things, and I'm probably overthinking a lot of other things. It's easy to block when you know what the attack will be. It's simple, really. I'm also probably tunnel visioning on Guido being the second culprit, with Sakuya. But then again, fuck. And plans that never worked in the past will go off without a hitch this time around. The reason why is obvious. Sakuya isn't here. Yeah, Sakuya is the only one with time travel abilities other than Shu, which means she was able to tell the culprit, the other culprit, whoever she's colluding with, what Shu's plans are. Something like that. Knowing the future makes it child's play for me to destroy her plans, since she can't stop me. The fact of the matter is the original perpetrator, not Sakuya, didn't realize. I know everything that will happen. The only person we've identified as our enemy is Sakuya, and she said she wouldn't interfere. The original culprit's extraordinary aesthetics are vital to their plan. Which means there's no way they will simply sit back and let us destroy their hard work. The only thing left is to wait and see if they'll fall for Kotaha's trap. Yeah, that's the thing. Ultimately, all of this is just to set up Kotaha's trap so that we could finally catch who did it. Probably Guido. Sure, thanks. Yana gently hands me a piece of paper. I realize this is the first written letter I've seen since coming here. With a clear mind and firm resolve, I very slowly push open the door. We're enveloped in a solemn, almost reverent aura upon stepping foot inside. The chapel, where the devout pray to God, is an integral part of this town, providing a clear boundary between inside and outside. She stands at the end of the red carpet, just as she did the first time we met. Bro is not the final boss. Stop acting like you're the final boss.
こんばんは、シュウさん、ユネさん。
Bathed in the moonlight filtering in through the stained glass windows, Sister Lily murmurs without a hint of surprise. Good evening, Sister Lily. Thank you for answering my letter.
構いませんよ。ただ、今夜祭は出なくてよいのですか？
Not this year, but there will be other chances for you to attend in the future.
ユネさんは喉を痛めているのでしたっけ？無理はなさらずに。
She sounds perfectly normal, but I'm sure she can guess why I'm here. As we engage in this idle back and forth, it's 10 p.m. This is originally when the 7th and final trumpet sounded out, as well as the time I specified in my letter to her. There's no need to hurry. Without the trumpets, we'll be safe up here. Hearing my voice, Sister Lily turns to me, her demeanor calm and collected.
何のことでしょう？
You were about to make a run for it, weren't you? From the basement stairs to that room. The main entrance to the secret room Kyrie and I once snuck into. Rinka said she'd found it blocked off the day before, but we need to ensure we can get inside today. After all, we can't tie up loose ends on the surface.
シュウさんはそれが目的で私を呼び出したのでしょうか？
Open the fucking triptych, Sister Lily. Indeed, like I said, there's no need to run in your run to your hidey hole since we'll be safe up here.
なるほど。
She murmurs, seemingly unimpressed, as if she's managed to figure everything out.
作品は完成しなかったということでしょうか？
As long as we're here, I won't let the apocalypse destroy this town. See, like, all of the teachers are also in on it, right? I had to make the sister know that. After all, that's the whole reason why I came here in the first place. I say, my heart overflowing with determination, her piercing gaze deadly serious. We both have a clearer picture of what's going on. The time has come to lay our cards out on the table for the other to read. Sister Lily.
はい。
I take a step forward. Sister Lily, who calmly remains where she is. If I want to know the secrets that lie in her heart, there is something I need to say first. And so, I'm truly, deeply sorry about this. I give a deep bow.
謝られる筋合いはなかったと思いますが、宿題でも忘れましたか？
No, but please allow me to apologize.
シュウさんの責任は何もありません。
That might be true, and yet, even I know that I didn't do anything wrong here. A part of me understands that. However, knowing Sister Lily's situation, as well as I do, I feel I'm the only one who can apologize.
それに、私たちだってシュウさんたちのことを見殺しにしようとしていました。これに関しては本当に申し開きもありません。
Back? Oh, you came back at the best part.
ですが、ある方が言っていたんです。運命は変わるものだから、彼らを信じて見守っていて。と、私はそれに従っていました。
It's possible to change fate.
ですから私たちはお互い様ですよ。お顔を上げてください、シュウさん。私に聞きたいことがあるんですよね。
Jesus Christ. No, I think Shu would be I think Shu is more like Adam than Jesus Christ. Yes, a lot of things. That's why we're here. It's now past 10, and all I'm hearing coming from outside are sounds of joyous celebration. The apocalypse will not visit this town tonight, I finally changed the course of events.
わかりました。ユネさんも、よければそこに座ってください。
A good or evil Adam? What do you mean? Talking about the situation? I know it was a joke. Sister Lily gestures for us to take a seat. She gives us the same amiable smile we're used to from class, as if to say she has no intention on running off or pulling a fast one on us.
高誕祭。聖なる夜。今日という日があなたたちにとって良き日でありますように。
Oh shit.
それでは、クリスマスの日に補習をするのもなんですが、私から最後の授業を始めましょう。
I still feel like Sister Lily would look better with glasses.